Money. Money.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JDMOONAN. I'm coming at you guys with another Magicka DK build video. This is going to be for the Greymoor patch. I've been working day in, day out trying to get this thing done, and it's taken me quite some time, but I think I've finally got it fully leveled out, and it works really well. I really enjoy it. I hope you guys are going to get as much enjoyment out of it as I do. It's a really strong build, and what's oddly enough is it actually performs really well. It gives you the burst damage that you need to take people out, as well as you're not going to be able to be ignored. You also have relatively decent tankiness. You are going to be able to perma block and all that good stuff. So I did go ahead and kind of get a little corny with it, and was kind of thinking about a name that I wanted to do for this, and so I wanted to kind of go back into some of the older themes that I had, and I want to go with the Rose of Brutality. And so as we go through gear, you're going to understand why I decided to name it that. But again, it's a really strong build, and just be prepared to nuke people. So it's going to be it really goes back to my older play styles, because you guys know I'm a permablock mag DK, as well as most people also probably remember Crotha and all those guys calling me the Scotch tape right click, you know. But anyway, so we are back in the times where my favorite play style is once again viable. It's really powerful. So let's go into sets. We're also going to go over stats, and then skills, you know, and different things that I'm using to utilize the build the way that I want to, and then we're going to go over CP. So looking at gear right now, we're going to look at the first setup here. We're running a Monster Realm set, which is Balorg's. So for those of you who don't know, whenever you use an ultimate, you gain weapon and spell damage equal to the amount of the total ultimate consumed, and the physical and spell penetration equal to 23 times the amount for 12 seconds. So this set did take a buff, in my opinion. It's actually really strong. I know they nerfed the spell damage a little, spell and weapon damage a little bit, but in my opinion, it's actually a lot stronger. So I am running a medium impin head, and I'm also running a reinforced heavy shoulder. The reinforced is fine as long as it's on heavy. As long as it's a heavy shoulder, you're fine. So also for the two-piece, what they do is it does 100. It gives you 129 weapon and spell damage. Now, once again, this is going to be medium and heavy. One's impin, one's reinforced. Both of these are going to have Hawk Hagoglyphs on them. On the body, I'm running 5 pieces of sturdy desert rose. So this is where the rose part of the name comes from. So the two-piece is going to give you 1487 armor, which is going to make us a little bit tankier. It's also going to give us max health, again a little bit more tanky, max magicka, and 2408 magicka return on a 15% chance proc every 4 seconds. So once again, these are all going to be sturdy. And I'm running Hawk Hagoglyphs on all of these. Now for the jewelry, I'm running a one-piece Stoons. It's going to have a cost reduction glyph on it at 306. And I'm also running a Stoons necklace, which is also going to be infused with a cost reduction at 306. Now, for those of you who don't know what Stoons is a new set, just came out in the Greymoor patch. It's going to give you 127 weapon damage, 127 spell damage on the two-piece. It's going to give you 1470 spell and physical penetration on the 3-piece, and it's going to give you 127 weapon and spell damage again on the 4-piece. This undoubtedly makes this the best damage 4-piece in the game. Okay, in the game, in my opinion. It's going to give you the highest amount of damage out of any other 4-piece in the game. That's my personal opinion. Now for the weapons, I'm using Nirnhoned. On the front bar, I'm running a shock enchant to get minor vulnerability on people. I'm also running a sturdy shield, which is also going to be max magicka glyph on that shield. On the back bar, it's also going to be Nirnhoned, but I'm using double dot poisons, as well as another sturdy shield with max magicka. Now, here's where the brutality comes from. So, I'm also running Malakast Ring of Brutality. What this is going to do is you can't do crit damage, but it increases your damage done by 25%. This synergizes super strong with Balor's. For those of you who don't know, it synergizes so strong. It's a really heavy hitter, so be prepared to get this ring. I don't think the Stoons 5-piece is worth it, so I wouldn't suggest really trying to go for that. Now let's go ahead and look at the we'll dive into stats real quick. So my stats sitting at 32, 196 max Magicka, 27.8 max health, and 20.2k max stamina. Our magic recovery is 669. Our health recovery is 995, and our stamina recovery is 535. Spell damage is going to be 2743. Spell critical is 41%. Keep in mind, this is a little bit higher because I'm also getting some of these buffs down here off these the enemy scroll keeps. So you're actually going to be sitting right around like 39% crit. My spell damage unbuffed is 2743. My spell penetration is going to be 10,729. And our spell and physical unbuffed is going to be 19,879 for spell and 18,000 for physical. Let's go ahead and buff up here. On the buff up, 25k and then 23.3k. So what I'll go ahead and I'll do is I'll put this down here so you guys can get an idea of how much spell damage we have. So spell damage without any other, continuous attack buffs or anything like that is going to be sitting around 3281. When you drop a Battle Lords at 500, that's going to go up to over 4,000 spell damage, and you're going to be hitting with over 20k pin and just beating people up. So let's go ahead and dive into skills real quick so you guys can see what I'm running here. I'm going to go ahead and start with the back bar. So on my back bar, I'm running Coag. I'm running Draw Essence. If you wanted to exchange this for a utility skill, you definitely could to get you out of, like snares and roots. But I really, I personally don't really have a problem. If snares and roots are an issue for me at a certain point, I'm probably going to die anyways. So I've been running Draw Essence. Sometimes I'll go back and forth between that and Wings if we're really, really fighting a lot of people. I'm running Volatile Armor. Degeneration is going to be my spell buff. I'm also running Cauterize, and I'm running Ferocious Leap on the back bar. On the front bar, I'm running Flame Lash, Burning Embers, Burning Talons, Fossilize, Engulfing Flames, and Standard of Might. So the whole point of Standard of Might is that when you drop Standard of Might, it's basically an insta-kill if you play your cards right. If you know how to bait somebody in with low health, then kind of dot them up a little bit and kind of get your combo ready, drop the standards, fossilize them, it's over. That's the end of the fight. You can pretty much nuke anybody at that point. And it's insane damage. So let's go back over here to our sheet here. I'm also running the Apprentice. I also run Bewitched Sugar Skulls, which is going to be our tri-stat food. And then as for pots, what I'm running for my pots is I'm running the Heroism pots. So it's going to give us Magicka and Stamina, and also Minor Heroism for 47.6 seconds while we're in combat. So let's go ahead and jump into CP. So while we're in CP, we're going to start with the Apprentice Tree. I'm running 64 points into Elemental Expert and 59 points in Spell Erosion. We don't have to worry about Elfborn because, remember, we're not doing any crit damage. If you want to spec a little bit into here for healing, if you're struggling with healing, feel free to do so. I don't really have an issue with it. And then also you can spec into Blessed if you wanted to do that. Running 72 points into Master at Arms to get a 23% increased direct damage. And then I'm running 72 points into Thaumaturge for a 23% increased dot damage, as well as 3 points into Piercing, just so we can get the Exploiter passive and get us that 10% off balance. So now moving on over here, we're running 56 points into Ironclad to reduce the direct damage taken by 20%. 33 points into Resistance to give us 911 extra critical resist. 39 points into Light Armor Focus. That's to match our passive. If you guys aren't aware, I'll show it to you. So you have a passive right here. Where's it at? Right here. So Scaled Armor is going to give you 3,300 spell resist. So I always put 39 points into whatever armor I'm using to get that, to match that spell resist with physical resist. Running a 43 Hardy and Elemental Split. It's going to give us 10% reduced physical and then also magic damage. And then 56 points into Thick Skin for 20% reduced dot damage. Over in the tower, I'm running 1 point into Siphoner, 2 points into Sprinter, and 72 points into Warlord to give us 23% break free cost reduction. 32 points into Arcanist, and then 19 points into Healthy. If you wanted to swap these, you definitely could. I'm also running 72 points in Tumbling to reduce dodge roll by 23%, and then 72 points in Shadow Ward to also reduce my block cost by an additional 23%. So that's the build. Okay, this is going to be my Rose of Brutality build. I really enjoy this build. I'll put, I got some footage in here for you guys. I'll also get around to making a how-to play video. So I'll kind of go over some clips that I get while I'm playing this setup and kind of, put it out there for you guys so you guys can have an idea of how I run the build and see how I bait people in and things like that. So once again, guys, thank you for liking my content, watching the videos. I also want to put a big shout out to all my members who have joined the community on my YouTube channel. Thank you once again for all the support. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to put out as much content as I do. So I really do appreciate you guys. And you will have some members only builds coming up here in the next couple weeks. So you guys go ahead and be prepared for that. Also, I want to thank all of the subscribers as well. Once again, you guys watching my content is also a way that supports my channel. That's the second best way for you to support the channel is just by subscribing, and make sure you check out the content that's getting released. Just check out the videos. All that helps out and keeps me being able to produce content. And then finally, guys, I want to remind you guys to don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already done that. And if you also would like, the ability to Q&A me and always get an answer back, and also access to members only builds, you can feel free to hit that join button. It's on the on the main page of my channel. It's going to be right underneath the banner. You're going to be able to see there's a little join button there. You can go ahead and hit that, and it's $4.99 a month, and that will help support the channel and keep the content coming out as quick as I can get it out. So once again, thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you guys out there on the battlefield.